Hey everybody, welcome to Dulcimerica. My name is Bing Futch, and yes, I'm actually here on the beautiful Suwannee River in Live Oak, Florida, on the border between Live Oak and Jasper, here at the 5th Annual Suwannee Paddling Festival, where I played for Paddle Florida last night. We had a great time here on the river. A lot of the folks are out kayaking right now, and I'm here chilling by the river, and I'm going to share with you something I discovered last night, which is kind of funny. Knowing I was coming here for the first time to this park, it didn't strike me that maybe I should learn The Old Folks at Home by Stephen Foster. So about 3 minutes before the concert, I figured it out. And I'd like to share with you a couple of things I discovered, and I'll teach you how to play that arrangement right there. But first, I just want to say to everybody out there from Patreon, thank you guys so much. You are making these things possible, and I've got some new technology that you'll see in this episode. And without you, I certainly would not be able to make that happen. So again, to all my patrons, thank you very much. If you're curious about Patreon, visit the link right down here below. That's www.patreon.com/BingFutch. Appreciate you checking it out and for being here and checking out this video. So let's start off with the melody of The Old Folks at Home by Stephen Foster. Once again, as I've talked to you before about this sort of thing, when you're trying to find a melody, it's important to, first of all, listen to it, and then try and figure out where that melody is going. Is the pitch going higher, or is the pitch going lower? And if you can hum the song to yourself, then you start off with the very, very first note, and then go note by note and figure, is it going lower or higher? And then, how far higher and how far lower is that note going until you find it, and then play those sequences through. So knowing I wanted to be in the key of D, that's F sharp right there on the 2nd fret on the melody string. I know the melody goes down from there, so I'll start actually working that melody string down. So that's the beginning of our tune. It's kind of a repetitive little line, so you're playing the same notes over and over again. 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0. That's pretty easy. 2, 1, 0, 2, 1, 0. Now, we talked about, in a previous episode, about intervals, the distances between notes. How far is this note from this note? And how far is this note from this note? Well, we're about to hit an octave, and an octave is the same note at a pitch that's 8 notes above the note you started with. So this is one of those octaves. We're going to go from D to the octave at the 7th fret. So after we do our intro, and there's your octave at the 7th fret. That's the highest note, roughly. That's the highest note that we've actually got in the piece. So we're going to come down to the 5th fret, going down to B there. Now just remember that that's going to be your spread there. I'm using my thumb and my middle finger at this point, and I know that that rocking back and forth motion is going to give me what I'm looking for when it comes to hitting that note. So I'm not only thinking about listening to the note, I'm thinking about getting a visual picture of the fretboard and where my fingers are located so I can play from sight as well. We'll go down below that one note to A. So we're going from 4 to 2. Now, at home, or far, far away, that note comes up. So we know we're going to go down lower and come back up to the note. So that's going to be 0 and 1. And as in these tunes, most likely, if you've got something that is very similar in the part of the verse or in the chorus, in this case way down upon the Suwannee River, that repeats. So when we do that line towards the end, it's going to resolve and go down to the open note, just like this. We repeat the main line. And now listen to how it's different. Going to resolve on that D. That's 4, 2, 0, 1, 1, 0. That's the A part. Going to the B part now. So we're octave D going down to C sharp at the 6.5 fret. And then I lied. We're going higher than the 10th fret or the 7th fret. We're going to the 8th fret for this. So 7 to 8. Sorry. So you're going to come on down to the 4th fret after going to our highest note. Okay? Up 1, back to our octave, and then this is a very nice little dive we're taking with the melody, and it's basically every other note. Forget about the 6.5 fret for a second, or the 6th fret there, and we're going to be skipping from 7 to 5 to 3. You have to do some finger dancing on that one. Come back up to 5, and then go down 1. The pitch goes down to 4. And then a little walk down. I like to double the bass in the melody. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then back into the second half of the A part. Okay, for melody, we've got that. Now let's talk about chords and backing those melodies up. As I've mentioned in other programs here, oftentimes your melody note is actually going to be one of the notes that's in the chord. So look at where your melody note is, and then fill in the other 2 notes. And so that's your first big clue as to what chord shape you're going to use, what's going to be appropriate for the tune. So what I've done here is I've added some really fun little harmonies by way of the 1.5 fret. If you don't have one of those, don't despair. You can play this with the chords without that. But it sounds really nice when you've got that little extra bit of color in there. So here's what I'm going to do. We're going to start off in D. Okay, now we have a G major coming up. The note, melody-wise, is on the melody string open. So if we play a 3-1-0, we've got what we're looking for. Now the melody goes up an octave, right? It's going to be impossible to hold down that 3-1-0 G major chord. So we're going to move the chord up to 5-6-7, and our melody note is right there on the melody string. Put the ring finger down on the 5th fret, and that's going to be the note that you're going to next. Lift your thumb up, just like that, and then come down back into D. Here we're going to put a B minor in. I'm playing a 2-1-2 to get that bass on the F sharp. Lift up your thumb, hold on to that B minor, slide down to an A 101. Repeat. And then back to D. For this, the melody comes down here. It sort of sounds unusual even though it is part of the scale. So you know we've got to be anchoring that with a chord that's going to include that note, and our L-shaped A chord is right there waiting for us. Back to D. Now here we'll put a G major chord in, 5-6-7. Your middle note is G. We can pick that middle string and go back to the melody string without having to do too much fussing around. Back to there, do our walk down. And for those of you with the 1.5 fret, you can add some additional color in there by using that. So I'll do, this is going to be, it could be a lot of things, but it's basically a G7 chord for us. Coming in there on the 1.5 fret right there on that. Now it's really a D7 that we're doing. The G7 shape is what we're using, but we're playing this as a D7 chord. So we're adding a C natural on the middle string at the 1.5 fret. That works out real nice. That C harmonizes so nicely with the melody and everything there. Then we'll go to our G. Then I do an E7 chord right here by moving from G to G sharp. That adds some musical drama as well. Our B minor stays the same, and our A, I'm going to augment to A by bringing the melody string up to the 1.5 fret. That's a big mysterious way of saying, but wait, there's more. Everything else is pretty much the same. A, our G, and there I'm just doing a G transition, walking the string down and then gliding back up into the second fret. And there you have the old folks at home that I figured out just before the concert last night here for the Paddle Florida group at Suwannee River State Park. Well, I'm going to get out of the sun because I'm sure the instrument hates it. I kind of like it because I'm glad the sun's out and giving us warmth again as opposed to freezing our butts off. I hope you guys really enjoyed this episode. Make sure you stick around after the credits to watch for more stuff. And until next time, my friends, this is Bing Futch saying, play on, baby, play on.